Hello everyone and welcome back to School. So, in the last installment we tried to land a probe onto the moon's surface, but because it ran out of power we lost all control of its maneuvering and it consequently smashed into the moon at a very dizzying speed of over 400 meters per second. So, since then, I took the opportunity to get a duplicate of it orbiting the moon. So it is presently in a low lunar orbit, fairly stable, pretty equal. And our job today is to try and actually land it. And after that we shall see what happens. So, here is our remote lander Moon 1 probe. Its only solar panels are at the front here, which is probably why it had trouble retaining power. But as it is pointing towards the, as it is in a reasonably good position to land in the sun-facing side right now, let us fire up and see what we can manage. So first, we kill as much of our horizontal velocity as we can, ideally all of it. So there goes our interplanetary stage. Using our landing stage, which is slowly pivoting. So we just need to get that surface velocity down, and that should bring us down to purely vertical velocity. Careful here because we don't actually have all that much fuel, as efficient as this engine is. Okay, that should be enough. So we shall now point strictly vertical and deploy our landing legs. We're not going to need them for a while yet because we're still quite a ways up. But if we have a look, that is our landing as it sits. And in a little while we're going to be going quite downwards. Let's straighten that out a little bit more. Okay, that looks fine, that should do. Sitting over there is the debris that we just jettisoned. It's already 23 kilometers away. That's quite a distance for a few seconds. I can probably see it in orbit. No, evidently debris doesn't show up in orbital view. Okay, but we are now going resolutely downwards at a increasingly rapid pace, but fortunately this engine has more than enough fuel and enough thrust to actually lift this thing up in Kerbin's atmosphere and gravity, as I've seen in testing. And speak of the devil, there's Kerbin in the background, so we shouldn't have much issue. So let's just advance a little bit faster than that, because we're not really going to have to worry about things until we start to see our shadow and such. Although I will kill this down to less than 100 meters per second. Now, because I still don't have Engineer, and I don't really intend to install it for this particular playthrough, we cannot see how much Delta V we have remaining, and certainly not how much we have, how much we are going to need. But we are still firmly within the sun's purview here, so we are keeping the power up quite nicely. So here's hoping for a smooth and careful landing. That is a nice view, isn't it? Look at that, that's just gorgeous. Okay, we are at another 140, so I'll bring it down again. We're probably way higher up than I need to be killing velocities, but we don't have the benefit of the internal radar altitude view here, so I can't really be certain as to how tall these are. Well, that looks quite a peak. I believe I can run these lights without worrying about it, yes, but they're mostly aimed outwards, so we're not going to be able to use them as landing lights just yet. Okay, coming down. And this has been flying for 12 hours and 20 minutes, which is a fairly short time for hitting up to the moon. If you do that in, like, the real world era, then the Apollo took a couple of days to get to the moon, and a couple of days back as well. Okay. That velocity is climbing, isn't it? Okay, but I still can't see any kind of shadow, and we should have a shadow because we are in the bright side, and the sun is right there, so we should be looking around about this way for our shadow. And we're about to reach 10,000 meters, or 10 kilometers, so I shall ready to begin deceleration procedures. Ooh, we don't have much in the way of fuel left. I'm gonna have to be careful. It would help if I had been able to do this at the lowest point of the orbit, but because we have this issue with the sunlight, I kind of had to pick whatever side happened to be in the sun at the time. Okay, now the lower levels of the terrain is popping in. We don't have a shadow just yet. And we are unfortunately running out of liquid fuel, as we can see in the top right there. Okay, let's leave that for the moment, because we're almost in danger of taking off, actually, as we can see by our retrograde changing direction. Where are you, Shadow? I'm still looking for that shadow. I'm still not certain where it's going to turn up. But it better turn up quickly. Oh, I see it, there it is. Okay, let's stay below 40. Okay, just a little bit more. We have nearly touched down, and these legs do have some reinforcing in them. Okay, we're about to run out of fuel here. So, come on. Perfect. Sorry, that just popped the sound, didn't it? Right, well, we have a perfect starry landing. Hey, that's beautiful. So, with that, we can begin to take our scientific measurements. We're not going anywhere because we are out of fuel, so we're just going to burn everything as we can here. Okay, recovery 40, transmit 12. That's fine, we'll keep that for the moment. And just do that for all of these. So keep them all. Good. Far side crater is what we're on, so we're on the opposite side of the moon from Kerbin. And the materials bay gives us another 20. Okay, so with that then, let us begin to transmit the data. 5 experiment modules will be inoperable if their data is removed. This is a new feature of 0.23. They've changed the way that the science modules work so that most of them are inoperable completely once they've transmitted their data. You can fix this by having the two-man science laboratory around, which can clean them and reset them, but by and large, this guy is now completely non-functional once he is done sending his data. Okay. 20 science gained from that. So this guy is now, once he's gotten everything sent through, he's basically an unmanned landmark on the moon for us, which is why he has these big lights around, creating this distinct shape. And of course he's going to take an absolute age doing this, but that's fine because he's got all of his lights running. Actually, I'll turn those lights off, it'll save us a bit of power. Not much, but some. But all we have right now is these photovoltaics, so these oxstats, which do not move and do not produce much power, but at least they're producing it constantly at a reasonable rate whilst he's out in the sun. So we are just waiting for everything to finish transmitting, at which time that should go back down. Just put the other one. You don't really need to. There isn't really much point to having any of these like actually up, and having more than one transmitter. But oh well, it looks nice, and it doesn't have much of an effect. But on a small probe like this, having the weight be as balanced as you possibly can manage it is a good idea. I should have stuck enough battery on this thing, really, shouldn't I? But then we probably would have crashed badly when we landed. So that is a nice looking probe, I'd have said. Lovely. I always wonder what exactly is inside of this thing. Because it's just basically blinking lights and stuff. I can't actually make out anything that's in here. Actually, then again, I can't really make out the goo inside of the goo container either. Alright, so we are just waiting for this thing to finish transmitting science. And then we can quite happily hop back to the Research and Development Center and see what we can purchase to upgrade our capacities, such that maybe we can send a manned unit next, or maybe we can send something that can get even more science. There are some more advanced science items, like the gravimetric sensor and temperature sensor and the atmospheric sensor and stuff, that can be reused. I don't know exactly how much science they get compared to having a guy on the moon, or having a goo sensor or whatever on the moon, but you can reuse them, so you can spam the science. So that's probably going to be our next thing that we try and do, is get more sensors to maximize our economy for massive damage. It's always the rule whenever you have any kind of resource in a game: maximize to every extent that you can your capacity to gain more, effectively money, wealth, so that you can buy more things in the game. Basically, it's the same. It's exactly the situation that you see in StarCraft. You max right before any competitive StarCrafters start to actually go on the offensive, or even in some cases even the defensive. They'll get as many probes as they can to mine for resources and such. And good lord, this is taking a while, isn't it? Can I review the data for him? Anything here? No, these are completely non-functional now. So we're just waiting for this to finish up. Well, there we are, on the far side crater. Which is on the far left side, it's not the back. Interesting. But it's in the sun is all we care about. Unfortunately, I don't think we can speed this up. Oh, or can we? We can, apparently. So let's put your lights back on. Okay, so that is all of the science that this thing will ever be able to do, most likely. Done, so let us head back to the Space Center and check on Research and Development. And see what we can pick up. Of course, we now got the science archives, so we can see where all of our science came from. And the technology wing is what we're looking at right now. It's where we choose the new updates. So let me see. Precision engineering. We have 44 science that we managed to get, so we can't actually afford any of this line yet. And we can't find any of that line, and we've buffed out that line, so we actually are in the means to send off another of those probes and see if we can get to land somewhere else. So, what did we learn from this thing? We learned that it needs a bit more batteries, ideally. It definitely needs more power, so we'll stick a few more photovoltaics onto it. Our 84 part here. And I've saved this thing with this attached now, so these shouldn't be a bother. Okay, and my mice is... Come on, attached. I really don't know why it does that. I really wish I did. Let's see... Utility. Voltaics. And... doop, doop, doop. There we go, okay. Looks a bit more wonky. Let's drag these down further, I think. That looks good. I think that'll work quite nicely. So now we've got 4 more avenues of gaining power. And we also found out that this thing could really do with some landing lights. So let's grab some of these guys. So that we can get a little bit of an idea as to when it is landing. And those shouldn't have kicked up the weight very much. Mass 0.015 and mass 0.005. So let's hope that they are sufficient. Model 2. Updated with knowledge from previous design. There. I like to keep those up to date. So... take it to the launch pad, and I will meet you back in orbit of the moon. There we go. That should be the minimum. And we'll be sure to circularize that on the other side so that we can land from anywhere, any point in the orbit. And so we are presently about half the planet away, or half the moon rather, away from our predecessor. And we have a 1 second burn, which should tell you a little bit about this pulse on this poodle engine. The almighty poodle. Which looks so silly on the back of this thing, but it works, so I'm not going to complain. Four, 3, 2, 1. And we're a bit low now, so our time warp is a little restricted. And look at that terrain just whizzing past. Now if we fly over this thing, I think we'll actually be able to spot it now. So let us... oh, we have very much missed our circularization. So let's just go straight in for the landing, since we're on the sunny side anyways. Hopefully this won't be the same biome. Hope it's only a machine for us. Okay, we have used very little fuel for that. Should about do it. Extend our legs. And we are directly beneath the sun, so we're going to be having our shadow straight below us. Let's get rid of that, because that's not needed anymore. Yeah, we're about a quarter turn, give or take, away from our previous probe. And this one's going quite swimmingly so far. Okay, turn on fine controls here so I don't really mess this up. Okay, now once again we don't know what the altitude of this is because we don't have the radar. So I'm going to keep it around about 50 for a while. Let's turn the lights on because we've got the power for it. The ones I put on the sides, unfortunately, are not very powerful, so we're going to be fairly close up, but hopefully our shadow will long precede us for that. And then we can enjoy the benefits of being directly beneath the sun. It's just that our shadow should increase in size beneath us as we go. And a pity that this one doesn't actually have any repeatable experiments on it, because this actually looks like we're going to have a fair bit of spare fuel. Okay, we're under 5,000, we're approaching the bottom of 4,000. And that terrain's coming in pretty close. Okay, there's our shadow. I see our shadow. It's right there. Yep, there she blows. And we still have plenty of fuel. Now, last time we came in at under 10 meters per second, or just over it, with our landing legs out, so we're going to try and get below 10 very much. I'd like to, just for safety's sake, since we have the fuel. Ideally, aim for 0 or less than 5. Absolute ideal is about 3. There we go. A little bit of a rough landing, but we have landed once again. I kind of need to set up an action group here, but our star probe has managed to make it. So with that, let's get some more science and see what this biome has to tell us about. Ooh, 100 science I saw there. Let's grab all of these and we'll take a look. Yep, that's all of them. Okay, so 12 science from transmission on the goo, but the materials study. You leave the moon sample bay doors open on the moon and go do something else for a while. Extra 20 science. Recovery would be 100 science. But this thing doesn't have any parachutes, so there's no way in hell it's coming back. So 20, 12, 12, 12, 12. Okay, so let's just transmit it all. Well, let's keep it first, and then we'll transmit. Yeah, that's all of them being completely inoperable. But we got 20 from the materials bay. There were 2.4 from the Midlands on the goo. But we're running a little out of time, so I'm going to watch this finish up, and then we will start the next episode of the Research and Development Station, and hopefully we'll actually have some significant progress made. But until then, I shall catch you all next time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and or a favourite. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to be notified of future updates. You can also check out the website where most other content is uploaded. That's all for now, catch you later.